Welcome back to Star or Shovelware. My name's Luke, and today on the channel we're taking a look at Mudness Offroad Car Simulator, or to give it its full title, and get ready for this one, Mudness Offroad Car Simulator 4x4 racing games driving, parking, battle tuning 2022 SIM Kart. So yeah, it's a buzzword bingo right there, and a name like that can mean only one thing. This game was published by Midnight Works, the same tossers who brought us a trio of scams I've already covered on the channel, which include a prison simulator, a cop car police simulator, and a jet fighter simulator, all with equally ludicrous full names, and all of which are absolute garbage with fake eShop screenshots and descriptions, so be sure to check out the videos down below on those as they're real eye-openers. Without further ado though, let's get into this review and see what's what, and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this review and want to see more. So forget about a story as there isn't one, so we're skipping straight to the gameplay, and I really can't be arsed covering this one in the usual format, so we're bundling all the visuals, audio and issues all into one in this review. Now, while the other games I've mentioned appear to have been developed by Midnight Works themselves, Mudness on the other hand was developed by someone called Radomir Rotaru, according to its Android listing, but its screenshots still look like a load of bollocks to me, and the eShop description opens with the words Next Gen AAA Off-Road Multiplayer Simulator, which is clearly a load of shite considering the game is single player only. Hitting the main menu though, everything seems pretty legit, and comparing it to the eShop screenshots we get a pretty big reduction in visual quality as well as a few distinct differences between the menus, so we already know that these screenshots aren't from the Switch version of the game. As with Midnight Works' other ports though, none of the game's menus can be navigated whilst docked and you have to actually use the touchscreen for them, but the main menu serves as a place to upgrade and repair your vehicles as well as buy other vehicles, but we'll get into this part shortly. For now though, getting into the actual gameplay, we start off from the base camp, and driving forward we're able to accept missions from this dude holding a flare. Again, these are selected using the touchscreen, and from what I could tell, all of them involve transporting either people or equipment from one location to another, with the only difference being that the equipment wobbles about on top of your vehicle, magically sticking to it like shit to a blanket. Accepting my first easy mission though, I set off for the sawmill, only to find myself sunk tire deep in mud and sliding about like a bastard all over the place. And while you are able to change to 4-wheel drive, turn your differential lock on or off, or change into the low and high gear ratios, this doesn't seem to make a blind bit of difference. And it seems that the tracks leading between each location have actually been dug out of the solid terrain surrounding you and filled with mud which has the consistency of baby shite, and you can actually clearly see a divide between the solid ground and this trough that you sit in, which is especially noticeable in the game's snowy biome. Anyway, after slipping and sliding your way to your destination, you drop off the cargo and accept your reward, which can then be doubled at the tap of a button, and I guess this originally required to watch an advert in the mobile version of the game. After this, you can accept another mission, which again can involve either a single destination or a couple of checkpoints along the way, and each location has its own set of missions, which from what I can tell can only be accepted once, and medium and harder missions actually have a timer, which appears to be the only thing setting them apart. That's it though, that's the basic gameplay loop in a nutshell. However, I did encounter a random event requiring me to tow someone out of a river, which I didn't have a towing winch so I couldn't actually fulfill, but this could explain the resuscitation screenshot seen on the eShop listing. Wherever you go in the game though, you're subjected to the god-awful driving mechanics, be that mud, snow or even sand. It's an absolute dick dance trying to turn around thanks to you being stuck in this goddamn trough, and while you can attempt to go off-road, you know, the thing in the game's title, the terrain is bumpy as hell and you'll usually end up smashing the shit out of your vehicle or just getting it grounded somewhere and then have to use the recovery button, which basically just plonks you back down in the muddy shithole they call a road in this game. Now, there's not really much else to say about the game. I played it for about 30 minutes and I'd personally had my fill. You do of course earn money for doing these missions, but to be honest, the upgrades you purchase don't appear to make a blind bit of difference and don't actually seem to really affect the driving mechanics. And the game actually has two currencies. One being what can only be described as rubble, used to purchase low-level upgrades, and gold, which actually comes into effect with higher level upgrades and is harder to obtain. The vehicles on the other hand cost thousands of rubles to buy, meaning plenty of trips back and forth between locations, but there was no way I was subjecting myself to that, so they're staying locked for all eternity. As mentioned previously, there's also no multiplayer in the game, it's single player only, but you do get these random computer controlled vehicles driving about the place, whose AI is absolutely atrocious and often sees them just getting in the way, driving randomly into walls, riverbeds, or often just each other, like a couple of rutting stags vying for road supremacy. Now when it comes to the game's visuals, they're actually not too bad, but the game does have some issues with its frame rate. And to give you some examples of how the in-game visuals compared to the eShop screenshots, I actually went out and found the locations that these were taken from and then tried to recreate them. So here's the first eShop screenshot, and now the in-game version. Here's the second, and in-game, and finally the third. And you can see by the in-game version I was unable to get the right angle, as there's no way to actually manipulate the camera like that, so it was most likely staged, which accounts for the action shot of the two vehicles in the background. Overall though, visually it's okay, and at least the screenshots aren't completely faked like the other Midnight Works games. Audio wise, we get some pretty bog standard sound effects for the vehicles, and some rock music which sounds like it's straight out of a 90s wrestling game. So overall, pretty average stuff. So when all's said and done, is Mudness Offroad Car Simulator a game that I would recommend buying? Most definitely not. Like the other games Midnight Works have published, to put it bluntly, it's pretty shite. And while its screenshots are relatively accurate, its eShop description is still misleading and embellishes the quality of the gameplay. So even if you see this game go on sale for only a couple of dollars, I'd definitely recommend steering well clear of it. And so that about wraps up this review of Mudness Offroad Car Simulator, and I'm not finishing its full title. So what did you think of it? Are you going to be grabbing it, or have you already bought it and now regret your purchase? Let me know down in the comments section below. Hopefully though I managed to save you a few quid on this one, and if I did drop a like, be sure to subscribe to the channel for future reviews as well as weekly dollar deals videos, and as always, thanks once again for watching, take care and game on.